Welcome to the Voice of Hope with Marcia Wygum. Marcia promises to be transparent and honest, to help you to rise and pursue your inborn potential to live your best life. She shares stories of faith, adversity, victory, healing, and resources to inspire your rise. Here now is Marcia Wygum.
Here we go. Welcome to Voice of Hope podcast. And today I want to introduce you to my very special guest, Timea Ashraf. Timea is from the country of Hungary, but now she lives in the UK. She has a whole host of wisdom that she's going to impart on us today. And as you know, the goal of this podcast is to help you rise, to overcome, to pursue your inborn potentials. And that's what we're going to infuse you with today. But before we do anything else, we have a few housekeeping. I just want to thank all the persons who subscribe and the persons who are partnering with me financially so that we can continue to produce and to these podcasts that will help you to rise, to overcome, and live your full inborn potentials. And if you like what we're doing here, I just want to implore you to come on board with us financially. You know, you guys know that this is the internet, but if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. But if you love what we are doing, we have a link here. We said we have paypal.me/Marcia 2021, or I'll put a link in the show notes. And either or, we're going to produce podcasts that's going to help you to rise, overcome, and live your full potential. Don't forget to email us with your questions, your concerns, your prayer requests at voiceofhopepodcast1@gmail.com. And I am on a writing journey where I am writing my book for my son. My son was ill from an hole in his heart as a child who was diagnosed with Down syndrome. And I believe that there's so much in that story that's going to help you. So look out for that. And if you need any help at all, we don't want to leave anyone behind, because my goal is to help you to rise up from your place of adversity and live your full potential. So we're going to put a link in the show notes. And if you want to reach out for anything, for coaching, for encouragement, please do so. So Timea, welcome. Timea is a business coach. Her passion is to help single persons start a business on a low budget. This is going to be very interesting because given the time that we are in right now, all of us want to know, how can we do this? Timea is a mother of 7 beautiful children. And guess what? She has a pair of twins. I think that's cool. She has a husband, and she's going to tell us more because I know she can do it better. Timea, welcome to Voice of Hope podcast.
Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you very much for having me today. I'm really glad to be with you because my passion is similar like yours. I want to help everyone to thrive in life.
Right. And guess what? We get to do that not only for the clients you serve, but also for the people in Radioland. Isn't that cool? And the beautiful thing is that Timea is from Hungary, and I'm in Colorado, and I know you are all over the place globally. So here we go. Timea, take us on a journey and give us a little bit about your background and the stuff that you've been through and the stuff that you overcome and how you get to this place. You're so passionate.
So basically, my story started in my childhood as Marsha already told you I'm born in Hungary. And so this is a poor country, and I born in a poor family in a poor country, which is even worse. And I was the smallest child, and I'm the only one girl. So all I learned in my childhood is that life is unfair. Anything I wanted to do, I always got the answer that no, you cannot do it because you are a girl or because you are the smallest child. So as I grow up, I never felt loved enough. I never felt appreciated, and I just learned the biggest roadblock in my life, the biggest limiting belief in my life, that
yes,
anything you will do, nothing will be enough, and nobody will love you and appreciate you for what you are. So my childhood was really hard for me, and it came along on all my life. It followed me around.
But good, because even though it seems where we are right now, it seems like even though you have been through such a challenging time, Timea, you have learned some beautiful lessons. Because I tell you, it's not easy to get to this stage where we want to turn around and to help or to make an impact in others' life. So bring us on a little journey of some of the things that you had was to overcome in order to get to the place of owning in on your passion to help others.
So basically, because I never felt appreciated at home, and I was always looking for someone else outside of my home to love me. And I didn't know in that time, but it was because I hated myself. And so I was looking for someone else to love me because I couldn't. And because of this, I've been in so many unhealthy relationships in a very early age. I think I was 13 when I had my first boyfriend. And it went along. I had lots of boyfriends. And by the time I was 17, I got married. And I moved away from my family. And then we had two beautiful girls. But eventually, the marriage wasn't really working because, first of all, because it was like an escape route for me. It wasn't as I thought. And secondly, because I couldn't really cope with a controlling mother-in-law.
Yeah.
But anyway, the marriage was broken and we ended up having a divorce. And this divorce was quite difficult and it was very, very long. So by the time there were so many other struggles in my life by the time we finished this divorce, and it was a very bad situation for me.
Yes.
Basically, by the time I was in this procedure, first I had my kids with me, but my mom was thrown us out from her house. And with this, she forced me to move in with someone who I didn't meant to move in with. And that house where we've been in that time didn't have a water, so we had to go to the well to get a water. We didn't have a proper heating and stuff. So on that time, I decided my children needed a proper house to live in. They needed proper healthy situation. So very hard decision, but I give my kids to my husband to take care of them because I knew they needed more than what I could provide.
Yes.
And by the end of the divorce, I was pregnant with the twins. And because of the situation, what happened in the divorce, like they broke up my Facebook messages, they twisted the messages in there, they told lies in the court. And I couldn't afford to have a lawyer, so I had a government lawyer. And that government lawyer was playing on a phone instead of concentrating on the case. So it was a horrible situation. And so I lost the case. And not just the case, but I lost everything what meant the life for me. I lost my two daughters in that case. And this is, I wish nobody would live through something like this.
You know, I love that. There is, as we go through these challenges in life, Timea, we get to, when we're going through it, it feels like we're never going to see anything beautiful coming out of it. Because I've been there myself. you know, the divorce, the messy part of it and all that. And I didn't know that there was ever going to be a light. But I love how you said you would wish this for no one else. And I feel you. I'm right there with you. But when you say, never wishes for anyone else, it's okay for we to keep wishing, but share with us some lessons that you have learned through this procedure. And if somebody else is going through it, what would you say to them?
So I think the first which comes in my mind is if you are living with a husband or partner and you think you will end up having a divorce, the first thing you should think through if you have any chance to save that relationship. So maybe try consoling or try and sit down with your partner and just start talking and get in a point where both of you discuss what you want in life, what is happening, and why you are not coming together the way you want it to. If you can't sit down together, then ask some friends or somebody, or ask, there are government facilitators who can help you out with these.
Yes.
And ask some help. Don't be afraid to ask help for someone to help you solve the situation, because maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Maybe it's just something you didn't communicate well, and you can save your marriage, and then none of this horrible thing would happen.
Yes.
There was one person I saw a video, Mark Gungor. He explained the difference between the female brain and the male brain. And most of the time, all the confusion and the complication in relationships happen because the female brain and the male brain works totally differently. And then we females assume that the male will understand everything we want them to, but they don't, because they work differently.
Yes.
And the other thing, if you cannot save the situation, for example, if you're living in an abusive relationship, then the first point would be to ask for help again. Look around who can support you, to move you for a shelter, for example, or somewhere where they can keep you safe from your abusive partner. But make sure whatever step you take, sit down for a few minutes or maybe an hour or two and think through all the steps you want to make. Think through where you want to be, how you think you can solve the situation, and make some small steps for yourself. What can you do today, and what can you do tomorrow, or what can you do next week to reach where you want to go with this relationship, or how you want to get out from it. Don't make bold moves and then you don't know where you're going. You need to know where you're going, especially if there are children involved. Because if the children are there and you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you will never know who will take the kids away from you. You need to be able to provide for those kids. You need to be able to shelter for those kids. You need to be able to feed them, to dress them. So you need to think it through. How can you do that if you leave the situation where you are now?
That's powerful. That's powerful advice, because oftentimes we're in the situation and we want to escape for safety because it's domestic violence going on and drug abuse and so on. But are you saying then, basically in a nutshell, seek advice, seek help if you can't, find somebody to help you mediate the conversation, because male and female, likewise, we see it differently, right? Would you say it's wise just not to leave the kids behind? If a mom has to escape, whether it's be, impromptu, unplanned escape, would you say don't leave the kids behind?
If there's any chance for you to take the kids with you and you are living in a situation, and it's an abusive situation, for example, I would never leave the kids behind, because if the person abusing you, what's the proof that he won't abuse the kids? So as a mother, I feel my responsibility to save my kids. Even if I die, I need to see my kids. But sometimes you cannot sometimes you don't have a choice. For example, after my divorce, when I had my twins, I've been forced to leave the house because the family was a gypsy family and they were like 6 people against me, all by myself. And I was working 3 time shifts in a slot. So one week I went morning, next week I went afternoon, next week I went evening. And basically they locked me out from my own kids' life. They didn't let me feed them, they didn't let me bath them, they didn't let me take them out from the room. So the only thing I could think, because I was all by myself, I had no chance to take the kids with me because otherwise they might have hurt me or something. The only thing I could do is to go and find an own house for myself and try to get some help, legal help or, child care help or something like that to get them back with me once I secured financial security for them, once I know where to bring them.
Right.
So sometimes you have no choice, but if you have a choice, I would never leave my kids if I'm moving somewhere.
I think I would just want to add, when we say sometimes we don't have no choice, and like your situation, that sounds like there was, you already calculated that it wasn't a good move for you to run with the kids. But for the person out there, if you can strategize deep enough, right? Talk to your doctor, talk to an advocate, somebody in the community who you can trust, right? And set up a plan around, you know what, you're gonna pull up to the gate with me this time, and we're gonna put the kids in there real quick because this time the person gonna be sleeping. But try your best and see if you can strategize around not leaving, find a way not to leave the kids behind. What would you say that what are some of the lessons that you grab from that situation that you find useful to your life right now and to the work that you're doing?
Basically, for me, for example, not having money was always a big issue for me. It always broke the way what I wanted to do. I couldn't follow my passion. I couldn't go to the schools I wanted to. I couldn't become a dance teacher. I couldn't afford to pay my lawyer,
Yes.
So I became really passionate about finding ways to help people to, get better life as cheap as possible. Because all around the world, all you can see is just, if you don't have money, then you don't get anywhere. If you have money, you have the world. And I hate this situation. I always hated this money issue.
So financial freedom, it was significant for you to create financial freedom because you see, not having that financial freedom was limiting some.
Yeah, it's very limiting.
Perfect. And so that's a great segue to go right into your passion. Why are you so passionate in helping singles, whether male or female, to start a business on a low budget using their skills? Tell us why you're so passionate.
So basically, I was always passionate helping other people. And when you are a coach, you know that you need to niche down. I'm sure you heard that sentence a lot of times before. And when I was thinking about how can I niche down, first I wanted to help small business owners because of the same situation I went through, that anytime I wanted help to learn how to earn money from my business, everybody just threw at me like, you need to buy this expensive funnel, or you need to buy my expensive course, or you need to buy my high ticket offer coaching or whatever, and nothing was available for low entry. And so I knew I need to provide something, because those small business owners need an entry level, low budget solution, because you can't ask someone to pay thousands to learn how to earn £10. But then only helping the small business owners, it was still too broad. So as I was thinking, I thought that in life generally,
Yes.
single parents are always left behind in support. They always have harder lives than others, and they don't get as much support as they would need. They always struggle with childcare. They always
Mhm.
struggle with financial problems. And I myself, as I'm living with my husband, he's working a lot. Our life is almost like if I'm a single mom. I do everything all by myself at home with my kids. So I felt I need to choose this spot. I need to help the single parents because they really need it. And I can really feel how they feel because my life is almost like that.
Yes. There was nothing for single moms. So you look among that which was frustrating you, and you realize now that's the niche you're going to focus on.
Yeah, and basically I included the single dads as well because everywhere all around the world, what you can see, you just see groups for females, moms groups, groups with toddlers with moms, business groups for moms, and you can't see anything for dads. And I feel they are left behind. So I really want to have fathers as well because we can't forget them. We need them, and they are there as well. They can't be left behind.
Oh my goodness. That's like a perfect time, because for the month of June, we are planning to celebrate men. Of course, I think June 20th is going to be Father's Day. But why wait until the 20th to celebrate our men? So on this podcast, we're going to, celebrate fathers, grandfathers, stepfathers, granduncles, adopted fathers, husbands. So that's a perfect time right there. There was nothing for single men. And you're saying you're catering for single women and single men alike. I love it, Timea, because there's no way we can. Yes, we have bad experiences, but I tell you, there's great men out there who are fathering alone because probably, the wife takes off, the mother takes off, or the mom passes away, or he just decide to be single and go, adopt kids. Or there's great men out there. And without our men, Timea, as you know, there's no way we could be standing up here calling ourselves mamas, right? Even if we go to the bank and purchase or our sperm or seed to produce that baby, we need our males. So I love how you include the males in your singles business coaching and building and development. And if you're out there and you want to celebrate your dad, you want to celebrate your husband, admire your life, or whoever the male is, we want to hear from you. We want to feature our males on our podcast for the whole month of June. So tell us some more about how do you go on this journey. I like when you said you get to a place where you couldn't afford anything, right? But then everybody's saying, pay me this for that, pay me this for my coaching, but you couldn't afford it. So there goes, you create the opportunity. Now, as the business coach that you are, tell us how you help people to own into that niche. I think I hear you said it though. I think I hear you say you look among the frustration, but you're the business coach right here.
So basically, I have my program, or framework, but I work through everybody in that framework. And it's a 6-step framework, which starts when you don't even have an idea, don't know what kind of business you want to run. And it leads you to your first sale. And then if you want to continue, you can continue working with me. If you want to look for someone more experienced, you can work with them. But I'm specialized on those people who just starting right now and to help them start.
I'm going to pretend like I'm that single mom. Here I am. I'm out here. I have all these skills and stuff. I am single because I have a child who's mentally or physically challenged. There's no family members around. Or I just get laid off from my job because of COVID or other stuff. Can't find childcare because my child is different, or just whatever. And I'm coming to you. What does that look like? Are you going to help me to get there, to that launch?
So the first step, what I always do with my clients, I ask them to draw a diagram.
Like the intersecting circles or the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then where you can see the letter A.
Yes.
I don't know if you see.
Yeah.
Letter A is your passion. So you have to fill this circle and you have to write down all the passion what you have. Look out everything from your mind and just write down whatever you like to do. Everything what you will do, even if you need to pay for it, you will still do that. So you're that much passionate about it.
Section, you're saying fill the A section of the circle with all the things that you're passionate about. Give us some examples.
For example, even though I'm a coach, I'm really passionate about painting. So I would put painting in this circle. I'm passionate about dancing. I'm passionate about singing. I'm passionate about helping people and teaching. So everything what you really like to do, you can put it in this circle.
Okay.
And then the other circle, the B, is what you are an expert on, what you're really, really good at. It's the easiest to determine is to think what your friends coming to you for ask your advice on. So for me, I would put the teaching in the B because everybody told me I'm really good at teaching because I'm creating nice courses and lesson plans is easy to follow. And so that's why teaching is in my B circle. And I think I've got feedback that my painting good as well. I sold 2 paintings, but so I would put that as an expertise as well. However, it's not coming on my C circle. And the C circle is your the things that you are able to sell, so which is profitable, and you see straight away how to sell it, and you know there is a market for it, for people looking for that thing. So for me, painting is not coming in the C circle because I don't have it's not fit the way that I could sell it, because to sell painting, you need lots of time to be able to paint, and then you have the product to sell. And I don't have lots of time to create the paintings to be able to sell. So that's why it's not on that circle. Now, once you filled up all these 3 circles, you need to look for the things that are land on the middle section. That's your sweet point.
The sweet
you
point.
want to look for the things that belong to all 3 circles. And that is the thing you were supposed to do. That is the thing, the topic for your business.
Look, you're saying look for the thing that intersect the 3 circles right there in the middle.
Yeah. So what happens if it's only 2 circles intersect? So let's say only your passion and your expertise intersect, so A and B, but you cannot sell it, so it's not profitable. So we're looking for this section.
Okay.
Then you have a hobby for yourself because you really like to do it and you're really good at it, but you can't sell it. So it's your hobby. If you have the B circle,
what cannot be sold in your, what you conceive that cannot be sold, those are your hobbies.
Yeah, so what you cannot sell, but you're really good at and you're really passionate about, those are your hobbies.
Okay.
What you can sell and you're really good at, that's going to lead to burnout because you are not passionate about it. That means you don't like to do it, or you after a while you're going to get bored with it. You don't want to do it anymore. So you will end up having a burnout because the passion is missing.
Okay.
And if you only have the passion and it's profitable, but you are not good at it, then this part, this will lead to a failure. Because to be honest, who's gonna buy your painting if you don't know how to paint at all? you can be very passionate about it, and there are lots of places to sell those things. But if you are not good at it, nobody going to buy it.
So you're saying if your passion and your expertise cannot be sold, then that's gonna do what?
So if your passion and expertise cannot be sold, those are a hobby. If you're passionate about something and it can be sold, but you are not good at it, then it's gonna be a failure.
Okay.
And if you are good at something, but and it's you're able to sell it, but you are not passionate about it, then you're going to burn out.
That's BNC. Okay.
So that's why we are looking for the sweet spot, the middle, which includes all three parts.
No, but when we start to fill out each of A, B, and C, do we fill out all the way up to the intersecting points, or do we leave the intersecting points and then afterwards we go look and see if it's marketable and then fill it in? Is that when we do that?
I would do separately, I just use the white part, which is not intersected. I just fill those up, and then I look up which things I put in everywhere, which things I have in all three circles. And then once you found those things, it could maybe end up with 2, 3, 5, 10 things. You need to prioritize which one is the best for you, because some things just not work out the way that it could be lead you to success. For example, something might need lots of time, but you don't have. For example, for me, the painting.
Yes.
It can be sold. I'm good at it and I'm passionate about it, but I can't do it as a business because I don't have enough time to create the product.
Right.
And so you need to think through your situation. Think about the things you've chosen, which are in the sweet spot. You need to see if you need to invest in that idea. If you need to invest but you don't have the money, then you can't possibly do that, or you need to look for some other solutions to get funds. Or if you have enough time to do the kind of business what you need, or if you have enough resources, or if you have a place. For example, you can't be a hairdresser if you don't have a place to cut hairs and you can't afford to buy a salon or something, like you need to consider which one is the number one, what you can start right now without getting yourself into big trouble.
And big trouble means financial debts, or even
either financial or too much headache for figuring out how to get from A to B. Maybe you need to up-level your skills and it's going to take lots of time, and you could work on something else instead by the time you're learning.
So when your clients come to you, you help them with filling out this Venn diagram, or you send them to go take care of that?
It's depend on the person, and it depends on each and every situation, because I believe there is no one fit all solution. So I I myself highly prioritize to personalize every single thing I do. So every time I have a client, before our session, I do a note for myself. I work out where they are right now, what they need help with, how can we get to, what questions I need to ask them to identify where we need to go next. And every single person has their personalized coaching session. So I'm not coaching everybody by, cookie cutter solutions.
I love that, because each of us, and that's why these are things I share in this podcast, is that each of us are unique. Each of us voice is unique. There's no one else like Marsha Whitegum. There's no one else like Timea, right? And then there's no one else like you out there in Radioland. So I love how you get to that place where you remind your clients that this is not a one one size fit all. It doesn't even work for shoe, dresses, nor nothing else, right? So I love how you embrace that. Can we say diversity or uniqueness? Yeah. So your clients that come to you and as you help them, what are they? How do you help them to identify? I just love the whole diversity piece because I know when I was growing up, how challenging some and how quickly I was to learn that you know, my siblings were different and that's totally fine because Marsha is different and I'm not going to try to be like them. So diversity and the whole identity piece, this is one of the things that's in my coaching program with people that I always try to bring out in them because it's key, you know. So share with us the other significant piece towards doing this exercise.
So there is one more thing might be difficult and you might think about when you're thinking of this C circle to find what is profitable or what is there, but is have a market. So how do you find that place? So basically, it takes a little bit of research, but the thing you can do is go to Google and type in what you're interested in. For example, acrylic painting, let's say, because we are in a painting. So you type in Google acrylic painting and you see how many businesses there, if they are selling, what products they are selling. And it's a common what's that called? Misbelief that if there are too many businesses doing the thing what you want, then there is no market for you because it's too overwhelmed already. But it's not really true because when you see lots of businesses doing something what you want to do, that's just giving a proof that there's a market for it. There's people looking for those things. So if there would be no one selling what you're looking for, that would be an alarm because maybe nobody was able to sell it because nobody wanted to buy it or for some reason there is no market for it.
So there is nothing called oversaturation of a market.
I wouldn't say because every single person is unique. And nowadays, especially on online marketing, it's a huge platform. You can reach anyone and everyone all over the world, billions of people. And the things, doesn't matter how many people selling the same thing, nobody will do exactly the same because you are what you need to brand and you are unique. So how you speak, how you dress, how you teach, how you do things, what you believe in, what are your values, there is only one of you. Yes. Nobody else will do the same thing exactly the same as you do.
Yes.
So that will make you different. That's why I wouldn't say there's oversaturation.
Because you have your set of people who's going to hear your voice. I have a set of people who's going to hear my voice and like my style and all those stuff that come with me because, as you said, you are the brand. I am the brand, right?
Yeah.
I love that motivational piece. So what, is there anything else that you want to share when it comes on to helping a single person, male or female, to start a business? And I think we clear up the money part that says, you know, if you don't have the money, you can't do it. We can do it because now we're going to help them to identify their marketable skills.
Yes, because basically what you need to start a business is a smartphone with the internet and a website with the hosting, which can be affordable. Like I pay £1 per month for my website and hosting. And it's a WordPress website, which is everybody refers to WordPress as the best website platform.
Did you say WordPress?
WordPress, yeah.
WordPress. Okay.
And in the very beginning, you don't need anything else, but you can have an email marketing solution, which is For example, mailer light is totally free, but I use Active Campaign, and it's like 10 pounds, kind of 10 poundish per month. So it's all together, it's still under 15 pounds per month to run a business. And I think that's a quite low budget. But one more thing, which is problematic for single parents or as moms as well anyway, is getting your time, the time when you can work effectively, because everybody has only 24 hours in a day. And it's really short if you are a single parent and you need to work and you start your side hustle, because I do tell everybody, do not quit their job to build a business. Build a business in next to their job and quit the job once they earn enough from the business. So that way they're not risking financial security.
Yes.
And so when you are dealing with your kids, dealing with the household, dealing with your work, and dealing with a new side hustle, time feels like you don't have it all. Lots of the time you're gonna feel like, I wish I could clone myself. So my biggest advice in this situation is, which totally changed my life.
Yes.
And I started to use calendar block scheduling. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
So basically you take a calendar, and I recommend using an online calendar like Google Calendar, because if you need to tweak around later on, it's easier than if you need to scratch it off from your paper calendar.
Right.
And what you need to do is you write down in a piece of paper all the tasks that you need to do every day or every week, everything which is important, and everything which is not important, everything you need to write down, and then prioritize them. Put the first numbers, 1 to 10, which one is the most important, essential things that you need to do, and the most important for you and for your family. Put number 1 to that, and go on number all of those things what you write down. Once you have the numbers, go back to your calendar and add these things to the calendar, with every single thing have a different color. So let's say the first thing for me is I always put my school drop-offs and pickups in my calendar first, because I know that I can't change that, and I know it's on that time. Sorry, and so I put it on there.
Okay.
1 second. So I put first my drop-off and pick-up times, because I know where they are. And let's say I use the color green for that, and I put them all in a calendar every single day, the exact time, how much time it takes for me from home to reach back home. And then that time is blocked out. And then the next thing I put in is like my work time, because I know I have 1.5 hours between the school runs what I can work on. So I add, let's say, orange color my work time, and I'm going to concentrate on focusing on properly on working something with my business. And then I put things like the family time, and when you need to cook dinner, or when you need to clean the house, everything you need to add to this calendar. One important thing you shouldn't left out is to add a me time, because it's essential to have at least 1 hour a week for yourself, when you do something that is relaxing your mind, which can refresh you, which you enjoy. Otherwise you're gonna burn out. So you need to have some time off from everything. And I know it can be hard. It might be just once a week, 1 hour, might be just half an hour once a week, or might be just 10 minutes every day. But make sure you have some me time scheduled in your calendar. And once you added everything into the calendar, then you can see how much free time you have for watching TV, or how much free time you have for anything else that is not so important. And also you will see, like, you know, always predicted what's going to happen next. And it saves you a lot of time that you don't need to think, oh, what am I going to do now? What am I supposed to do now? Because you will know straight away, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, and then it becomes automatic.
This is powerful. I love everything you say. I love you said it, get the calendar. Are you saying that we could just use Google Calendar?
Yeah.
You can just set up everything in Google Calendar, and with the reminders too. It's always good at telling you what's coming up next. It beeps at you. That's powerful, Timea. I think leaving us with all of those, you know, me time importance, getting the calendar to structure a day, knowing that we can start a business straight from our iPhone or Android or cell phone, you know, or laptop, and seeing how you tell us, you know, going to we can maintain our business on a very small or low budget starting out. These are all huge stuff, right? Is there anything else? Is there any 1, 2, or 3 else you want to leave, or you think that's good enough?
I think we already covered a lot for those who just tuning in. I don't want to overwhelm them.
What would you say to a mother right now? Because this is my passion group right there. A woman who is expecting or parenting a child with a developmental diagnosis, and all she can hear is how bad life is gonna be for this child. You know, I've read and I've talked to other parents who sometimes behind the doors in the office, doctor's office, they hear information like, you know, you can terminate, you can give this child up because this child is not gonna basically have no use to itself or society. But then I am a mom with a child with developmental diagnosis, Down syndrome. And the reality is that's not true. They don't have enough information to make really good informed decision, right? And a child with a developmental diagnosis, they do kind of a beautiful life. Our son is. What would you say to a mama like that? Probably she's single, or a dad.
So what would I say to someone who's been offered to stop their pregnancy because their child will born with something, a health issue?
Yeah.
Or
the parenting.
basically, in my opinion, I saw a video on your page where a lady was talking. She had a Down syndrome, and she was talking about this issue that, and I didn't know about this, that if you have a healthy pregnancy, you have X time of then you can do abortion. And if you have expecting a child with Down syndrome, the time limit is longer. And I was shocked, like, why would we do that? They are same human being like the other child. Why we are allowed to, you know, kill a child when they are bigger just because they've been diagnosed with something? It's like, I can't understand this. Is like, it's not fit with my, you know, my beliefs and everything, because we deserve to be equal. And it's like, maybe tomorrow they will decide if the child will born with no sight or with no hearing, then they're gonna allow them to be done the same way. Or maybe if a child will born with one finger less or something like that, they will expand their time as well to be aborted. So for me, this is just crazy. I don't understand why they need to do this. And for the parents, I just feel that it's, of course, it's their decision, but I would, if it would be my child, I wouldn't choose to abort that child, because I would still love him or her, because that's my blood, my child, and she didn't want it to born. I wanted her to be there, so it's my responsibility to grow her up and provide her the best possible life.
Yes.
And unfortunately, lots of family doesn't know, even though if they have children with mental disability or physical disability, they they don't know how to care for these kids properly. And I think maybe they lack of support as well, because I have friends who has autism diagnosed child, and every time we are there, my heart is broken. Poor child is kind of like, they don't know how to deal with him, and so they have other kids as well, and I feel those little boys being like kind of neglected or left alone because they don't understand him. And I think these kids need more time than healthy kids. These kids need more care, more love, more concentration, and we need to work out the way to communicate them, how they can communicate. We couldn't just give up on them. They are still human beings and they are amazing people.
Absolutely. And like you said, oftentimes parents don't know how to deal with the situation. And I would say, because I'm that mom too, who have a child who's different, and also have 5 other kids who society calls normal kids, right? So it's just that place where, and then these are the stuff I do in my coaching too, and with parents, is that it's just like 3 things. Yes, Marsha, is that easy? It's not easy, but it's like 3, like how you were showing the Venn diagrams. It's like making that decision that I went into the pregnancy for this, or I get pregnant without, it wasn't planned for, but this is my child and I'm going to go on this journey. So we have to make that decision, right? That we're going to stand by our decision. We're going to be the advocate for that child. And that's where we stand. And then when we're going to be the advocate, that means we're going to pull out every stop there is to get the resources that we need to help us on this journey, right? And the other thing we have to do, Timea, is to, and you notice, is to have early intervention. So like you said, this one child now needs more patience than ever, right? You can't just put meal at him and walk away. You got to sit with him and feed him. And I tell you, sometimes they don't want what you give to them. And it's not what they don't want it. It's a part of the developmental issues that's happening, right? And then the next thing we have to do, like you said, they don't have enough community, right? So we have to build that community around our decision and around our child. And it's just a beautiful, like 3-step journey right there. But we can do it. Timea, oh my goodness, you're full of so much wisdom. I love the simplicity that you bring on this program today. For probably, single parents, single moms, single dads, but also for those who are married as well. You bring such an ease and just simplicity to how we can use our skills and stuff. How can we find you? I have the information here. I'm going to put this in the show notes, but I want to hear from you.
So my main place to find me is my Facebook personal profile. That is the main focus in my mind. Okay. Everything I do is going to be in there. Okay. But I do have a Facebook group for small business owners where they can grow their business and connections. Yes. So we have regular promotional threads, we have celebrate your wins threads, we have set your goals threads. People can go live to practice, people can connect with each other. I have lots of free materials on that group. Good. And the other thing which is in my heart is my YouTube channel. Right. And the YouTube channel called Mother's Mind, and the idea came that it's gonna talk about everything that's in a mother's mind. So it's childcare, it's things to do with the kids, it's how to run a business around your kids. So everything that comes in a mother's mind. So on YouTube, we can find you and just type in Mother's Mind. Yes? Yeah. Or we can go to your website at pmt.craftycorner.tameside.com. But we're going to put this all in the show notes. Or you can go to Facebook. Go to Facebook and it's Timea Ashraf 6388. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Timea. And I want to thank all the guests out there in Radio Land today who tune in probably at the beginning, the middle, or just catching up on the end. If you're catching us at the end, I would say go right up back to the top, because there's some beautiful nuggets and wisdom that Timea shared with us. And I want you to grab all of that. So if you're out there, you're a single mom or you're a single dad, there's so much from this one podcast that you can own in today. We have the Venn diagram that she shared, and she was just showing us how we can compartmentalize or the things that we are good at, our passion and our expertise in one, and the things that we can sell. I know the intersections right there. Then we're going to pick out and see which one we want to put in that block, and we're going to pursue that one. So if you're joining us for the first time, I just want to welcome you, and I want you to stick around, because we have a lot more stories of inspiration, adversity, faith to share, to help you rise and to overcome and to live your best potential. Absolutely. Email us at voiceofhopepodcast1@gmail.com, because we want to hear from you and want to keep you also in the loop, because I'm writing a book, and that book is going to bless so much people. And if you like what we're doing here and you want to partner with us financially, go ahead and do that at paypal.me/Marsha2021. And this is the internet, but guess what? In spite of it all, if you don't feel like going that financial journey, we are going to keep producing more stories to help you, especially in a time like this. Ladies and gentlemen, Timea information, it's going to be there in the show notes. Reach out to her. She is compassionate. She's passionate about what she's doing, because she has been in that said position, and she want to help you on your rise and your walk. Until next time, walk good.
You have been listening to Voice of Hope with Marcia Wygum. We're glad that you were able to join us today and that you found the program inspiring. For further information, please email voiceofhopepodcast1@gmail.com. That's voiceofhopepodcast1@gmail.com. Listen again next time for Voice of Hope.